news for all of them. Well, police have warned parents in Sydney's West to be on alert as a special police force investigates a bikie gang for intimidating and attempting to recruit teens.
Police are sending a clear message. The Hills district in Sydney's outer west is under the spotlight.
We are coming after you. We think it's ridiculous that you're targeting young people.
Police have released this CCTV image alleging members of the Hells Angels have attempted to recruit school kids at shopping malls, intimidating them into peddling drugs for the gang. 7 men are under investigation for the standover attempts. In one case, police say parents forked out thousands in a bid to stop a gang from further threatening their son.
Kids are dealing with their own stuff anyway, right? The last thing they need is like some big bikie guy trying to belt them and their families.
Really concerning. I would hesitate to have my children wandering around.
Kids just have to be so vigilant.
Hills MP David Elliott says locals should go to police if they're concerned.
I've appealed to our community, particularly the parents, that if they know that their children are being bullied or harassed, particularly by criminal elements, they need to give that evidence to the police.
Given reports of bikie intimidation are hardly new for residents in Sydney's West, what, if anything, can police do to crack down on this disturbing trend?
Well, welcome back to the project. Former Assistant Commissioner Clive Small. Clive, bikies are usually very insular and don't generally involve the public in their crime. Are you surprised by this story?
Yes, it's a new trend, it seems, and certainly if it shows that it's going to make any money for the gangs, it's a trend we could see escalating very rapidly.
So this is a culture shift, if you like, in the way bikie gangs are operating?
Well, it certainly appears that way, and I'm quite surprised that it's the Hells Angels that are involved, because they have traditionally been the group that have been most insular and most traditional in the way they operate.
They're doing this in broad day. They're standing over people in public in the middle of the day. Now, they must be incredibly confident to do that. Does that suggest that the police are a long way behind in this battle?
It certainly shows that they're very confident that they do and have little fear of arrest or anything to interfere too much in what they're doing. So I don't think it's a very good sign. The reality is we have ups and downs with the bikie gangs over time, but at the moment there've been major players in the shootings here in New South Wales. We've had over about 200 of them in the past 18 months or so. Not saying they were involved in all of them, but in quite a few. And they seem to be becoming rather immune to threats by governments and by police.
So what can police do? Are you suggesting there's probably not a lot they can do?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that have to happen. First of all, governments have to stand up and admit and say that we have a problem and we're going to do something about it. The other problem is we have to have police who tackle these gangs like as though they're fighting a war, and by that I mean they see every skirmish and battle they fight and have a victory in as a victory overall. It's not. It's just one bit of the war that has to be fought, and every time they do have a win, they shouldn't take their foot off the accelerator, so to speak. They need to apply the pressure even more so.
The victims have been told to speak to police if they're in these situations, but police have admitted before they face a wall of silence when they talk to victims because they're too intimidated and too scared for their lives to actually say anything.
Well, I think there's two problems here. One is, in those cases where the victims are themselves criminals, the fact that they won't speak to police is not unexpected. On the other hand, though, we have the case where victims are innocent parties and they are terrified or concerned, but what that lack of communication shows, or the lack of willingness to cooperate, shows to some degree a lack of confidence in the police and the government.
Clive, thanks very much for your time tonight.
That's fine. Speak to you soon.
We're going to take a quick break. Plenty more to